Hey there, this is Ann Teagarden with episode 47 of the Unveiled podcast. Thanks for joining me today. Today I want to talk about rest. So I thought I would do a little change of scenery and come out into my front yard, which has a little more relaxed, restful feel. Now, I know what you're thinking. Rest? I don't have time for that. If I told you right now, hey, go sit down and rest for a bit or go do something fun, you'd say, yeah, right, I wish. At least that's how I've been for probably most of my life. But a few years ago, I learned rest is really valuable. So if that's you, I don't have time to rest, this episode is definitely for you. I'm continuing this series of lessons that I learned during my crazy summer of just relocating my in-laws and a lot of health crisis. And the need for rest, relaxation, and refreshing was definitely a lesson I learned this summer. So this summer, it seemed like my husband and I were just going 90 miles an hour from early in the morning until late at night, trying to keep up with the ever-changing needs of Grant's parents. I'm sure you've had seasons like that. Maybe that's your normal. I would drop into bed exhausted at the end of the day, sleep for a few hours, get up, and repeat it all over again. Not a picture of sanity. As women, even without crisis, we wear many hats. We are wife, we are mother, we're housekeeper, cook, whatever our occupation is. And then it seems like there's always other things getting added in, right? Like drama mama, caring for elderly parents, a sick family member, something comes up. You got to head the committee at church. And it just seems like there's no more room for our needs. And I've been there. But I'm here to say we must rest and refresh, or we will crash. Our body will make us rest. And that's usually not fun rest because it kind of looks like misery laying in bed. And I've talked with a lot of women who've said, oh, I just don't believe I have time to rest, right? I don't have time to rest. I don't have time for refreshing. I've said that myself. When we have a free moment, like, oh, I have a free moment. Instead of sitting down and doing something refreshing, we go, all right, what else can I get done? And we look at our to-do list and we check one more thing off because we feel like if I can just check 4 or 5 more things off this list, then I'll feel less stressed. Then I can rest. And we just keep putting off that time to rest. We end up running on adrenaline and caffeine. This summer, I was definitely running on adrenaline and occasionally caffeine. But I found that all of this rarely makes us feel less stressed in the end. When I do yet another task, when I know I'm really at the end of my rope, it backfires on me. It leads me to be stressed, exhausted, grumpy, and eventually sick, as I said earlier. And when we're exhausted and grumpy and stressed and all of that, it ends up producing hurt feelings in those around us, okay, at least for me. I end up snapping at them or blowing up. Yeah, most of us do that sometime or other. So while I may think that I'm serving them well by being the hero woman, I'm actually harming my relationships. None of my family particularly wants to be around me when I'm impatient, stressed out, and exhausted mom, right? Or wife. So why do we do this? I have a few more thoughts on that near the end of this episode. But I don't think any of us want to be grumpy or stressed out. Like, that's not our goal. So what is a very busy woman to do? Good question. I think Jesus tells us what to do. In Matthew 11:28, he says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Does that sound like you? Weary and burdened. Sometimes I just feel like there's this big weight right on my shoulders. Our Father is gentle and kind. He is not a taskmaster. He promises us rest and he gives it to us. God actually commands that we Sabbath. I mean, it's in the top 10, right? It's one of the 10 commandments. Jesus had the entire world to save, but he took time to be alone. He took time to be with his Father. He was sleeping in the boat. Remember where he was taking a nap and there was a storm going on and the disciples had to wake him up? And the Sabbath isn't just about resting. God says to keep it holy. And I think that means that God wants time with us, or that's one of the things it means. When we're racing around crazy busy, his voice is drowned out by the noisiness in the world. It's hard to hear that still, small voice of the Lord when our to-do thoughts and our stress thoughts keep our mind busy. Okay, he wants to speak to us, but it is that still small voice, and it has to be heard through all the noise. We have to get quiet sometimes. Okay, but if we really stopped and did something fun with our husband, okay, what if we just said, instead of that one more thing, I'm going to have fun with my husband, I'm going to have fun with my kids, I'm going to take time for myself. What if we gave attention to our child that was needing it? They may actually cause us less stress in the long run. There are so many chain reactions to our actions. For example, we rest and we refreshed, which leads to us being less stressed, which means we are happier, which means we fight less with our family. Then we have less stress because we're not fighting with our family, which means we're less grumpy, our kids are less grumpy, which means everyone is happier. See the chain reaction? Or we choose not to take the time to rest, okay? And we're like, I'm just going to get one more thing done. And then we end up still stressed and impatient. And then we end up snapping at our kids and we make them cry. And now we feel guilty. And now we're more impatient. And now we have to take extra time to fix the mess that we made. And so now we're behind. And that makes us more stressed and more grumpy. And you see the chain reaction there. Okay, I'm going to talk more about stress in general in the future, but suffice it to say that one antidote to stress is rest, relaxation, and refreshing for our mind, our body, our soul, and our spirit. All of those, not just one. We think that we'll rest and be less stressed when we get everything done, right? When I get everything done, then I'll rest. But if you stop to think about it, we are never done. As soon as the laundry is done, we take off the clothes we're wearing, and now there's more laundry to do. We clean up, and within a few days or hours or sometimes minutes, there's something else that needs to be cleaned. So we're never really done. And I'm not saying that to be depressing or to discourage you, okay? It's just be realistic, okay? There's never going to be a time when it's all done. Even at work, you finish an assignment, your boss is going to give you another one, okay? So being finished can't be our goal, all right? And I'm not saying that we should just give up on our responsibilities. No, but we do have to have balance. So I felt like this summer, there were seasons and times where I was just going like a maniac. Some of it I had no control over, but some of it I did, but it seemed finite. So I thought, this can be done, right? This is a job that will be done. And so I let the circumstances really just carry me away. And I was getting very impatient and grumpy, and it affected my relationships with my husband, with my kids, with my mother-in-law, who was living with us at the time. This was a season where I needed more patience than usual, and instead I had less. And I did realize finally that everybody kind of needed some of my one-on-one attention, and I began carving out time to give everybody the attention they needed. And that really helped with my relationships, but it added more to my plate. And I realized I also had to carve out time for myself as well, and time to spend with God. Because as I've said in some of the previous episodes, God was able to rearrange my mindsets and help me better think about the situations that I was in. So I remember May and June, just crazy. And the 4th of July weekend, I crashed. I did almost nothing the entire weekend. And guess what? Nothing terrible happened. All of those to-do items on the list, they just sat there and waited for me until after the holiday. But I was able to tackle them then, rested and refreshed. And I spent some fun time with my family. I spent time alone. I spent time with God. The month of July was a bit better because there was a little bit less stress on us, and I tried to take better time out for myself. But I obviously still didn't do it enough because at the beginning of August, I got wiped out with strep throat. Again, your body will just make you rest if you don't do it yourself. So even though I know this lesson, I wasn't really following my own advice. And it is difficult during crisis seasons. I get that, and I found that. But it's still possible even if it's less. But sometimes we go like this all the time during the everyday stresses of life, and we must take time to rest or you will crash and burn. I try myself to take Sunday afternoons to relax and read or go do something fun that I want to do. But it doesn't always happen. And if I know something has to happen on Sundays, I try to take that time during another time. But I do try to guard it. And I like to have bath night. So for me, one night a week to just go and take a bath for like 45 minutes, and everybody knows, leave mom alone while I'm having a bath. For me, that's relaxing and refreshing. I have a good book, I have a candle going, some good music. So find what works for you, okay? But you can Sabbath, right? I know there's a lot to do, but you can do it. I dare you to try it, okay? God has a way of making things work out when we do them His way. Now, a refreshing time also doesn't have to be a whole day, though that is nice. It might be a 20-minute walk just to clear your head. If you're really starting to feel that impatience and grumpiness rise, just go take a walk for a little bit. I've done that many times, okay? It isn't selfish to spend time alone or to spend time alone with God. It isn't selfish to go do something fun, okay? It isn't. Like I said, I'm not suggesting you just chuck all your responsibilities, but taking a moment out for you, for others, for fun, it's okay. So this week, I give you permission to relax. I give you permission to go in your room and ask not to be disturbed for an hour. If you have little children, obviously, you can't just ignore them, but take turns with your husband. Can you watch the kids for an hour while I go relax? And then you can go relax and I'll watch the kids. I promise you the duties will wait. The laundry will still be there tomorrow, but you'll be refreshed and ready to tackle it with more joy. Okay? And it's a lot easier to choose joy when we're rested and refreshed. So listen to Jesus calling you. Come to me. I see you are tired and weary. I will give you rest. I will help you accomplish what needs to be done, and I will show you what doesn't and what can wait. Trust me, my daughter. I am your shepherd. With me you lack nothing. I make you lie down in green pastures. I lead you beside quiet waters. I refresh your soul. Come, spend time with me. I love to be with you. One last thought. Is our driven nature about serving others? Or is it about us feeling good about our accomplishments? Is it feeding our insecurity? I had a very driven mother. As a child, I only wanted her attention, not clean baseboards. I wanted her to play with me rather than head up a committee at church. She left me a legacy of working hard, but also of feeling guilty about resting. So don't repeat your parents' mistakes if that's you. Leave a legacy of showing your kids that they can work hard and rest and have fun and still be a responsible adult. Model time alone, model time for fun, and time with Jesus. Everyone will benefit. Try it and see. If you needed this permission to rest, let me know in the comments. I love to hear from you. Or you can email me anytime at Anne, A-N-N-E, at synergiamm.com. Please, if you know someone else that really needs to rest, share this podcast with them. Remember, you are loved. You are beautiful. You are enough. Go in peace.